The Cardinals fall behind early and lose another series opener. How the starting rotation is negatively affecting this entire team on today's episode of Locked On Cardinals.
You are Locked On Cardinals, your daily St. Louis Cardinals podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey there, Cardinals fans. I'm JD Haffern, and I'm a national radio sports anchor, born and raised in the Lou, and a lifetime Cardinals fan. And I'm your host for Locked On Cardinals, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. You can follow us on Twitter at JD Sports Radio and the podcast at LO_Cardinals. I want to thank those of you who make Locked On Cardinals your first listen every day. We're free and available wherever you get your podcast. You can also find us on YouTube. Like, subscribe, and comment so you can interact with us. Hit the notification button so you know when new episodes are posted. This is a show serving Cardinal Nation and giving the best fans in baseball all of the info about the birds on the bat. This episode brought to you by HelloFresh. Skip trips to the grocery store and count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. That's why it's America's #1 meal kit. Go to HelloFresh.com/MLB60. Use the code MLB60 for 60% off plus free shipping. Happy Tax Day to everyone out there. For those of you who haven't gotten your taxes done yet, may God be with you and your tax expert, whoever's taking care of your stuff today. And I hope you get a fat and juicy refund back. I'm sure you deserve it. I owed this year, so that stunk, but got my stuff done yesterday. So we're in the clear as far as the taxes go. Today would be a much better day had the Cardinals gotten business done last night at Busch. But once again, they fail in many of the same ways that they've done all season. And I got this tweet from one of our listeners, and I wanted to give them a shout out here real quick. D. Hayes tweeted me last night and said, feels like we are watching the same game on loop every night. And that's because we kind of are. They kind of do the same things that cause them to lose 10 of their first 17 games all the time. First inning runs have been a problem. I mean, it just has been for this team. And it happened once again on Monday night. 2 batters into the game, the Cardinals are losing 1-0, just like that. Leadoff double, then a single, and bang, you're in a hole again. For the 7th time this season, the Cardinals are either losing before they even get to hit or are losing following the first inning. 7 times in 17 games, you are behind the proverbial 8 ball from the beginning of the game. And then once again, you've got to claw your way back just to get even. Now, this offense, when it's going right, the way we thought it was going to be coming into the season, shouldn't have issues scoring runs like they have. But right now, they are not firing on all cylinders. They got issues. This lineup is not in sync at the moment. They're not putting together rallies together to overcome these deficits that they keep falling into early on in games. And if you're constantly losing, right away. I mean, these guys are human. Falling behind causes you to press. It causes you to play tight, trying not to make mistakes instead of just going out and playing ball. That's not how you want your team feeling. That's not a good way to go into a game. You want to be loose. You want to be relaxed, confident. And right now, this team is the exact opposite. And it stems from what's going on in that first inning, and it's stemming from what's happening with the starting rotation. Now, granted, after the first inning, Jack Flaherty was absolutely rolling. He retired something like 10 consecutive batters at one point. He allowed only 2 base runners, both on walks over a span of 17 hitters after that RBI single in the first inning. He looked great. The dude was locked in. But unfortunately, the Cardinals' offense was nowhere to be found. And that's one of the things that's going on here with this team. One day, the starting pitching is getting knocked around. The next day, starting pitching might be okay, but there's no offense. Or then there's a bullpen issue. Like, it's always something. They just haven't been able to put together that cohesiveness where all 3 pieces, bullpen, offense, starting pitching, come together in beautiful harmony. Hasn't happened really yet. So the offense, not until the 6th inning, they don't do anything till then. That's when they finally get to crack the scoreboard, and it started with a Brendan Donovan bunt single, something so simple as a bunt single, which was nice to see because when the hits aren't falling, and they weren't again last night, you got to try some different ways to get on base. And I applaud Donovan. I applaud him for playing a little small ball, getting on base like that. Took some courage to do it, and I like it. And then you get arguably the best bat of the season by any Cardinals player. Wilson Contreras has an epic 10-pitch battle with Diamondback starter Merrill Kelly. He sees all of his pitches multiple times and eventually ends up clubbing a double, scoring Brendan Donovan. And when he's on second base, I got the picture up on YouTube right now. He's like, thank you to the heavens above, to the baseball gods. He did the same thing when he finally broke that 0 for 22 streak that he was in. So you like what you're seeing from Wilson Contreras the last few days. You like the energy, like when he gunned out the runner at second, which was what, the 5th time he's thrown somebody out already this year, which is tops in baseball. Pretty awesome. But you like to see what he's doing. Then he steals third base because the defense is playing back. They're not expecting the catcher, Wilson Contreras, to steal third base. He does it, picks up on it, takes it, and is just 90 feet away from taking the lead, and Arenado fails. Strikes out to end the inning. But now the momentum is with the Cardinals. You know, he's starting to feel a little bit good, unfortunately, for the Redbirds. It does not last long. First hitter in the 7th inning, Ketel Marte, who I mentioned yesterday had been struggling coming into the series, but as always, it's a guy you got to keep your eyes on. You got to be careful around him. Him and Christian Walker were the guys that I told you coming into the series hadn't really done all that much yet this season, but you know what they're capable of, and eventually they're going to break out, and Ketel Marte comes through twice in this one. In this particular at-bat, Jack falls behind 2-0, hangs a slider, bang, 2-1 Arizona. Next hitter then doubles, then you get a walk, and then Flaherty is out of the game. And he's not happy whatsoever about getting pulled from this game. Again, when I see Jack Flaherty yelling things when he's coming off the mound, I tend to think he's not talking to Ollie. He's not saying it about Ollie. I think he's yelling at himself. I think that's what he's upset about. I think he was upset that some of the pitches weren't called strikes in that final walk. I think that's what the problem was. I don't think it was him being upset at Ollie taking him out of that ball game. I don't think that was the issue there whatsoever. I think he's mad at himself. He expects more from himself, and when it doesn't happen, he gets upset. I'm not going to get mad at that. Like, I'm not going to. I like that he's got some fire in him and that he expects to be better than what he's done so far this year. Although you got to be encouraged by the way that each and every game he's gotten better and better. And until that last inning, Jack was pretty lights out in this one, you know? Like, not too shabby whatsoever. But he gets pulled, and it was a curious move to bring in Andre Palante, the right-hander who had been recently dealing with arm fatigue. Remember, that's why we didn't see him for a few games. Didn't look great yesterday against Pittsburgh, but he battled. So we gave him some props for being, somebody that he was going to battle. He was courageous enough to. He's like, look, I can give you an inning today. I can do that. And now he's out there on the mound again, back-to-back days, because the bullpen is fried from so much use in the first 3 weeks of the season. And you got the next 2 hitters who are left-handers. So it was a curious move. Perhaps Genesis Cabrera would have been a better choice, but it's easy to second guess when you know what the outcome is now, right? Normally you think lefty-lefty matchup. That's something that makes a little more sense, but Palante is actually pretty good against left-handers. So you can't be too upset about this particular move. Unfortunately, it doesn't work out. Palante comes in and walks the first guy he sees on 4 pitches. 4 pitches. Then has a good battle with Pavin Smith, but on the 6th pitch, catches a curveball up in the zone and hits a grand slam. Hits a grand slam, making it 6-1 Arizona, and essentially this game is over. The look on the faces of Willie McGee and Jack Flaherty standing at the bullpen was priceless, or not at the bullpen, out at the dugout, the steps of the dugout, priceless last night on YouTube. You can see this photo that went viral yesterday because it was so like it's just what we were all feeling. It basically encompasses how these first 17 games have gone so far for the Cardinals. You got Willie, who's just like, what was that? And then you got Jack, who just cannot believe that after pitching so well through 6 innings that he wasn't able to get through the 7th, had the issues, and then now the Cardinals are down 6-1. So why Palante in that spot, you ask? Well, after the game, Ali said that Palante felt great on Monday following his appearance on Sunday, and that's why they went to him. He said he's a pitcher who can normally get double play balls, and if he hadn't felt good, they wouldn't have used him. But I guess Palante told Ali he felt good, and I saw him hit 97 last night, so the life on his fastball was back. But that's where we are with this bullpen. They are seemingly exhausted from having to throw 3 and 4 innings almost every night, because the starting rotation hasn't been able to get deeper into a lot of games. That's been a huge problem, and it's causing issues everywhere. The Cardinals bullpen has now thrown 61 1/3 innings after last night, which is the 11th most innings thrown by relievers in the league. And I'm not bashing on the bullpen here. Outside of Jordan Hicks and Andre Palante, they've been great. They've been awesome. But with the bullpen being taxed right now, I can't believe I just used that pun on tax day. I apologize. You had to put in Palante, who just really hasn't been very good this year. His ERA is now 7.56. He's allowed runs in 4 of 8 appearances and has now allowed 12 hits, 2 of them home runs, and just 8 1/3 innings of work. I mean, that's not the guy that we saw coming out of the pen last year. He was fantastic last year, but he struggled at the World Baseball Classic. Hasn't looked good so far this year. I don't know what's going on with him. We've gone over Hicks' struggles, but now we seemingly have 2 guys in the Cardinals bullpen that you can't trust bringing into games. And your bullpen's exhausted at the same time, which is forcing you to use these guys. Not ideal. And it starts again with this rotation who's got to start getting deeper into games for this team to survive and get out of this. Flaherty, after 4 starts, averaging a little over 5 innings per game, has gotten better each outing. Again, I mentioned that. That's awesome. Michaelis, exactly 5 innings per game after 4 starts. Jordan Montgomery's been your best. He's at 6 innings per start. Steven Matz is a little over 5. Jake Woodford has been under 5 innings per start so far. And it's wearing out your bullpen, who seems gassed on April 18th. Guys, there's 145 games left. And your bullpen's already on fumes? What are you going to do the rest of the year? How do you get out of this? Not an ideal position to be in again. The return of Adam Wainwright should help. Normally, Waino is really good at eating innings. He has been his whole career, but at this point, 41, coming off an injury. Are you banking on Adam Wainwright to come out and start giving you 7 innings every time he gets the ball? I mean, how can you trust that? By the way, we're going to have an update on Waino and some other injuries later on in the episode. Coming into the season, it was well documented by myself, by you, the fans, by just about any person that watches baseball, that this starting rotation was the weakest spot of the team. And it is. It still is. And it's affecting everything in a negative way right now. The offense is playing from behind, so they're pressing, trying to do too much every at bat. Bullpen is wiped out, and the team is 7-10. We hate to say we told you so, but we kind of told you so. All right, let's talk about the outfield next, okay? This is something that is intriguing to me. How coming into this season, we knew that Jordan Walker, if he made this team, was going to make this a difficult situation, and it is. But not everybody's producing the way you wanted them to, so it's made it even more difficult for Ollie to know who to start each day. So we're going to talk about this outfield next. Right now, our new sponsor, So Rare. is who I want to talk to you a little bit about. Revolutionary fantasy baseball game and marketplace, transforming fans into owners with officially licensed digital cards featuring players from across all 30 MLB teams. Obviously, the Cardinals are a part of that. Unlike other fantasy baseball platforms, SoRare managers truly own their fantasy experience, collecting, buying, selling, and competing with player cards against global opponents to win epic rewards. You can win, lose, and still own your cards. You don't lose them. And there's no cost to play, which is awesome as well. Plus, the more you win, the more you advance, collecting increasingly powerful cards and accessing next level competitions and rewards. I mentioned yesterday that after a decent weekend with my So Rare cards, I end up scoring a Mookie Betts card this week, which is great because he's one of the best players in the league. So I like that. You get to the top of the leaderboards with your team, and you can win a variety of rewards, which includes So Rare scarcity cards, game tickets, merchandise, signed jerseys, VIP experiences like meeting Major League Baseball stars. All sounds good, doesn't it? Head to SoRare.com/lockedon. That's spelled SORARE.com to draft your team a free player card. Set your lineup and start competing today. Win those rewards. Again, that's SoRare.com/lockedon to start playing today. Thanks for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen every day. Every dayers, tomorrow on the show, we'll have a recap, which is always nice when it's a win. It kind of stinks when it's a loss, like we just went through. But we'll recap what happens at Busch tonight between the Cards and Diamondbacks. Plus, tomorrow's game is going to be a day game, so we'll have tomorrow's episode after tomorrow's day game. When that's all complete, we'll get together. The Cardinals outfield has had its ups and downs this year already. We had the Lars Nootbaar injury right out of the gate on opening day, which knocked him out for a bit. We had the Tyler O'Neill getting thrown out at home plate while seemingly not running full speed. We've had Dylan Carlson dealing with neck injury. That's kept him limited. But we've also had some good stuff. It's not all been bad. Jordan Walker had that hot start, was setting records for a hitting streak at the beginning of the year. Alec Burleson has been cementing a spot on this team with his hard hit rate. Although he's had some tough luck with them going right at people, but still, he's really stinging the ball, which is great. As a whole, though, the outfield has been meh. Just been meh, production-wise. Rookie Jordan Walker leads the outfielders with 8 RBIs. Who had Jordan Walker through 3 weeks leading the outfielders in RBIs with 8? Who did? Nobody, right? That's the 6th most RBIs in the National League for outfielders. But he hasn't even had an RBI since April 9th at Milwaukee. And he's hit a bad spot right now. He's struck out 10 times since then. Pitchers have adjusted to him. They're throwing everything low and away to Jordan Walker. He's got to make the adjustments. He's either got to have a better eye or he's got to figure out a way to go to the opposite field more to put the ball in play. But he's 1 for his last 16. His batting average has dropped to 254. Rookie Alec Burleson, now second on the team with 6 RBIs as far as the outfielders go. He's hitting 277, which is leading the outfielders in batting average. Analytics have been great for Burleson. Average exit velocity, hard hit percentage, expected batting average, expected weighted on base percentage, expected slugging, all of that stuff, top levels in the league. We're talking 80th percentile type of stuff. He's been fantastic. Again, he just needs to find some more holes. He's had some bad luck with a lot of these hard hit balls going right at people. He's not striking out much. He's proving his worth, and that's why he's getting more and more playing time. I know you're looking at his production. You're like, does it seem like he's not really doing that much? But he still is. He really is. And, last night hits a home run. Tyler O'Neill, huge disappointment so far. 2 home runs, 4 RBIs, 19 strikeouts, leads the team. Huge disappointment. I don't know what else to say. The guy, he doesn't put the ball in play enough. When he does make contact, he does hit the ball hard, but huge disappointment so far. Lars been hurt, so kind of incomplete on what's going on with him, but the dude has 8 walks. Let me point this out real quick. 8 walks. Lars Nootbaar has 8 walks in 4 games, which is second only to Paul Goldschmidt on the whole team. His OBP is 556. Why is he not batting leadoff again? Can you answer me that question? This is nothing against Brendan Donovan. But when somebody's better at getting on base, why isn't he at the top of the lineup and Donovan slides down a little bit? Why isn't it Nootbaar, then Burleson? Why can't Donovan come down some and be a guy lower in the batting order and kind of be one of those second leadoff guys? Why is that a problem? I don't get why moving the lineup around is such an issue. Guys are going to hit. Just let them hit, but give the guys who are doing it better more opportunities. You've got Dylan Carlson, who in 29 at-bats is hitting .207, 0 home runs, and 0 RBIs. Had the neck thing going on, but another one of these 5 guys who's been a huge disappointment so far this year. John Denton at MLB.com wrote a piece about how tough it has been for Ollie to juggle all of these guys and get them playing time. And granted, it can't be easy. Ollie said this: "It's not fair, and that's not what this industry is conducive to. It's not fair, and I'm not going to describe it as fair. Is this fair for Dylan Carlson? Not really, because he deserves to play 3 or 4 times a week, but at whose expense? I'm not going to sit there and say Dylan Carlson should be okay with it, or Tyler O'Neill should be okay with it, or whoever sits next should be okay with it. We knew this was going to be like this as soon as it was announced that Jordan Walker made the team. We told you that it was going to be like this. It was adding a guy that you can't afford to bench. You can't just let Walker rot on the bench to an already logjam position. And the front office either refused to trade any of them or just didn't find a deal that they liked enough to use any of these outfielders in a deal for, I don't know, maybe some starting pitching. And with Nolan Gorman being an absolute stud so far this year, you can't take away at bats from him in that DH spot to allow one of these outfielders to hit instead. So every game, 2 of these guys who you feel deserves a starting spot has to sit on the bench. That is the conundrum. And somehow you got to make them feel, it's okay. Do it for the team. You just sit over there. Pretty much everything we said that was going to happen leading into this season has come to fruition like we thought, with the starting pitching and with the outfields, with having too many of them. Too many good outfielders, which good problem to have, right? But at the same time, if you have extra of something and you're short in one area, make a trade. But it didn't happen. It didn't happen. What we did not plan on was for this team to be 7-10. I don't think anybody saw that coming. But that's where they are because of all of this. Going to talk injuries next. We're running out of time here. So injury updates on some pitchers, including Adam Wainwright, and we'll preview tonight's game versus Arizona on Locked On Cardinals. Adam Wainwright, who was forced to start his final MLB season on the injured list. Hold on, I got a really good picture of Adam Wainwright here. There he is. Okay, so this photo on YouTube is of him after he caught the foul ball in his hat. Always a character. Gotta love Wayno. Wainwright started the year on the injured list because of that growing injury that he suffered back on March 21st. Is going to make his first rehab start with AA Springfield on Wednesday night and is expected to throw approximately 60 pitches. If that goes well, he'll throw 75 pitches in a second minor league rehab start. Who gets sent down when he is activated is a question for another day. I don't have the answer to that. That is not my problem. I don't get paid to make those decisions, but they'll have to figure something out, won't they? Everything I've heard about Wainwright's rehab has been positive. He hasn't had any setbacks. In fact, I heard during one of the telecasts that he feels stronger than he did before he got hurt. So that's great. We'll see how he does in these 2 rehab starts. Reliever Wilking Rodriguez expected to begin a rehab assignment with AAA Memphis on Thursday. Pitched well in spring training. Hasn't pitched since injuring his shoulder in late March as well. Rule 5 guy. So that's a separate issue that they'll have to worry about later on when he's ready to be activated. Again, I don't get paid to make these decisions. I don't know what they're going to do. Burleson had that shin contusion back in the lineup last night. Mentioned he hit his second home run of the season late to cut that lead to 6-3. Clearly good to go. Deserves to continue starting and being a part of this this Cardinals outfield. Paul DeJong hitting .273 with 1 home run and 7 RBIs and 22 at-bats at AAA Memphis. He continues to try to come back from the back issues that he was suffering with in the spring. He's also struck out 8 times and walked just once. He's doing Paul DeJong things down there. I don't know when he's going to be ready to come back. When he is, I assume Mater will either get sent down or designated for assignment. I don't know what they're going to do there either. A lot of decisions coming up for the front office. Tonight at Busch Stadium, you've got Jordan Montgomery. That's an easy decision to make. You want him starting as much as you can. He's been your best starter so far this season. He'll be on the mound against former Arizona first-round draft pick Trey Jameson, who has just 1 start so far this season after not winning a rotation job in the spring with the Diamondbacks. But in the 1 start that he had this year, he blanked the first-place Brewers for 4 innings. The Cardinals have never faced this right-hander. Normally, that spells certain doom for this lineup. They usually just suck against guys they've never seen before. But let's try to stay positive here. All right, I'm going to stay positive. We're going to end this episode on a positive note. Contreras looking much better. Looking much better. You see the confidence coming back. He's got the excitement going on. I like it. He should be back in your lineup. Goldie back in the lineup after having last night off, I would expect. I haven't seen a lineup yet. It's warm and sunny in St. Louis again today. We're supposed to be topping out in the 70s, so that's awesome. Okay, that's a positive. And you've got your best pitcher on the mound so far this season. Let's get a win. Get all the lefties in the lineup, and let's get swinging, boys. Thanks again for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen every day. Every day or tomorrow on the show. Once again, we're going to be double dipping with discussion about tonight's game and tomorrow, since it's an early afternoon game. And at some point, I want to get down into the minor leagues and get some updates for you on Mason Wynn and Gordon Graceffo and Matthew Liberatore, see how they're all doing, keep you updated on that. So maybe we'll get to that tomorrow if we have time. If you haven't already, please give us a follow on Twitter at @LO_Cardinals and at JD Sports Radio. Like and subscribe on YouTube to help our channel and love for the Cardinals grow. You're the best fans in baseball for a reason, and I'll see you next time on Locked On Cardinals.